Sangha with great virtues, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and attain bliss and end birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth. Nam mô Sa Đan Tô Su Che Do Ye Ở La Hở Đi Sa Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Sa Đan Tô Su Che Do Ye Ở La Hở Đi Sa Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Sa Đan Tô Su Che Do Ye Ở La Hở Đi Sa Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Sa Đan Tô Su Che Do Ye Ở La Hở Đi Sa Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Sa Đan Tô Su Che Do Ye Ở La Hở Đi Sa Miao San Pu Tô Xie. The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master YongHua, all good known advisors, Amitofo. How are you tonight? It's really a hot day today, huh? We are at section 10. Okay. Section 10, joyful charity brings blessings. The Buddha said, when you see someone who is practicing giving, aid him joyfully, and you will obtain vast and great blessings. A Shramana asked, is there an end to those blessings? This section is about rejoicing in others' merit and virtue. That's one of the big vows of universal worthy bodhisattva. That is, we're learning about the fact that we should help others in the act of giving. Help others give. Giving involves, there are three kinds of giving. What are the three kinds of giving? Anyone knows? First, the giving of wealth. And then there's the giving of Dharma. And then there's the giving of fearlessness. Giving of wealth may be categorized into the giving of outer wealth, things outside of your body. Okay? We people in the West are known for charity work. It's one of our, I think that's one of those things that America still leads the world in. Philanthropy in general. This is part of the great culture of our country. Something I'm very proud of. Also, there's a giving of inner wealth. What is the giving inner wealth? Inner wealth is what is very precious to you, like your kidneys, like your heart, like your brains. Things that belong to your body are part of your inner wealth. It is not very easy for us to part company without inner wealth, is it? And in particular, there is a trend right now where people would give away their organs upon death. You can simply sign up in California with the DMV and it shows up in your driver's license. As a Buddhist, as a Pure Land practitioner, I don't recommend it. Because on the surface, it's a good thing to do. Give away things you don't need anymore. But actually, it could be detrimental to your rebirth chances. Because even though you are medically dead, you still have sensations. And therefore, when they cut you up and remove those organs, you still feel a lot of pain. Your consciousness still feel a lot of pain and you become afflicted. Therefore, you can't concentrate on the Pure Land Dharma. Therefore, the Buddhist practitioner, Pure Land practitioners, in general, we don't recommend you donate your organs upon death. It's not a good practice at all. Okay? In fact, we take it even a step further. That is, we have a death dharma where actually there are certain things that we should pay attention to when we have deceased people in the family. Okay. So anyway, that's about non-wealth giving. And third, yes.
Is that on the organs that, even though they have discontinued to function?
Yes. Because like it or not, okay, when your body is cut up, it's very painful. And during death time, it is such a chaotic time for you, for your consciousness, that you don't need to compound it. Okay? Yes.
What about
burning is okay. The burning it doesn't have any big impact on that. It's the fact that your body is being dissected, and the fact that your consciousness, even though your body is dead, you're declared dead, your consciousness is still so attached to your body that at that time you regret, says, why on earth did I give away my organ? Because it hurts so much. It becomes so afflicted that it's very stressful. So it's really not helpful at all.
But anesthesia, well, maybe anesthesia and then dissection.
Yeah, it takes care of the consciousness. Yes, but it's still you're talking about hurting your body, which is really very stressful experience.
Isn't there something about 48 hours after you die you're not supposed to be touched, or?
Actually, it's 49 days.
Is it the whole 49 days
Yeah.
not to touch the dead person?
Yeah, you shouldn't touch the dead person for a long time.
So
even when you touch it, be extremely gentle, extremely careful.
If they harvest the organs, they usually try to take them right away.
Yeah, they chop it up because
you get chopped up immediately.
Yeah, it's very, very painful.
What about cremation? They don't wait 49 days for that.
Yeah, but cremation is a different thing. It's more or less disposal. Okay. It's just the fact that your consciousness, even though you're dead, you're still very attached to your body. There's something that most Westerners don't realize, medical doctors don't realize. That even though we're dead, our consciousness is still hovers around. Okay? It hovers around our dead body. Okay? And it still has sensations, like it or not.
For 49 days?
Well, not all 49 days. In general, you want to wait as long as you can. We have a 49-day, Buddhist 49-day Dharma for death. That during that time you have to be extremely careful with the body.
So you don't cremate until 49 days later?
Unless you can refrigerate. Okay? You put in a refrigerator, then you can keep it there for 49 days. But usually people don't have that luxury of waiting 49 days. Okay, so if they happen to bury it, you go through burial or cremation before 49 days, it's okay too. Okay, we still have a 49-day Dharma, death Dharma, that we can execute on the behalf of the deceased. Okay, the point here is that upon death time, be extremely careful with the body. Okay, treat it with extreme care. I don't know about the embalming process because it may vary. Some people are like it. Okay. So I really don't know. It has so many variations. But still, the fact that they remove your guts, okay? They basically have to remove your innards when they embalm you, don't they? Am I wrong?
Not always.
Not anymore. That's what they used to do to the mummies. Huh? Formaldehyde. Okay. So basically, what you're doing, you are putting chemicals into the body, and you have some chemical reactions. And there may be adverse consequences. Okay. Embalming is not a good thing in general. The Buddhist practice of cremation is the best, really. It's the best. It's least inexpensive, least expensive, and it's the cleanest. My teacher, Venerable YongHua, when he died, they cremated him, and then they spread his ashes at the city of 10,000 Buddhas. He said, "I came with nothing, I'm leaving with nothing, and don't you dare build anything on my behalf, under my name." Okay? And fearlessness. The point here is that when you give, don't be too stuck on giving only money. You also have to give all kinds of things. Give things that people need, living beings need. Okay? That rounds out your blessings. The best kind of giving really is good Dharma giving, because Dharma is called unconditioned giving. Okay? Whatever else you give is limited in scope, whereas Dharma is much broader, much more beneficial in the long haul. Any questions? The important thing here is the key word here. When you see someone practicing giving, aid him or her joyfully. The key here is to aid others in giving. Okay? Learn to do that. And that's how you obtain vast and great blessings. Maitreya Bodhisattva was asked, what's the advantage in helping others give? Why can't I simply give? Why do I have to bother with helping others give? Maitreya Bodhisattva replied, he said, if you give, you will become a practical Buddha. If you aid others in giving, you become a Buddha. Okay? That's why we aid others in giving. That's how we obtain vast and great blessings. And a left-home person asked, then, is there an end to those blessings? Will my blessings be less because what's the limitation? Is there a statute of limitation? The Buddha said, consider the flame of a single torch. Though hundreds and thousands of people come to light their own torches from it, so that they can cook their own food and ward off darkness, the first torch remains the same. Blessings too are like this. So he uses an analogy. Cooked food here symbolizes enlightenment. You cannot become enlightened unless you aid others in giving. Alright? And darkness here, the word of darkness. By giving, you accrue a lot, you obtain vast and great blessings. That's how you ward off darkness. What does darkness refer to here? Darkness here refers to obstructions. Obstruction to your path. The three kinds of obstructions. Very important thing here you ought to know about: karmic obstructions, retribution obstructions, and affliction obstructions. Obstructions are what prevents you from reaching your goals, whether it's your spiritual practice, whether it's making money, or whether it's pursuing happiness. Okay, you run into all kinds of obstructions. The first kind of karmic obstruction and retribution obstructions. What's the difference between karmic obstructions and retribution obstruction? Can anyone help me? What is karmic obstruction? And why is it different from retribution obstructions?
Karma would be both good and bad, and retribution would payment for the bad ones.
See, the sutra it looks so simple, and yet these principles are very, very profound. Karmic obstruction, and you think you understand these things, actually is a lot deeper than you think. Karmic obstructions, the obstructions are not explained at all anywhere in Master YongHua's explanation of sutras. I've read 150 of them in English. I have yet to run into anything that clearly defines what the karmic obstruction versus retribution obstruction versus affliction of obstructions. Karmic obstructions is like moving mountains. Okay? It's there. Every time you try to do something, you always run into the friction. Okay? The friction of moving something. That's karmic obstruction. Who told you to move it? Okay? For example, you're trying to help someone. In the process, you are in conflict with people who do not want you to help this person. Right? Therefore, your karma, your action is being obstructed. What you're trying to do is being obstructed. Okay? The mere fact of you're trying to do it, you run into the inertia. Inertia is one kind of karma obstruction, isn't it? You're moving. Inertia resists. It's a resistance to your motion, your movement. Is it clear? Karmic obstruction now? Okay? So every time we do something, we run into something called karmic obstructions. The first thing we run into is inertia. As you try to move, it's karmic obstruction right there. Inertia holds you back. Okay? Inertia can be translated into many forms of happenings. Is it clear? And then you have retribution obstructions. What's retribution obstruction? That is, I give an example. It's something that screams at this concept. For right now, we have the U.S. Open championship, tennis championship. And this year, Andre Agassi is not competing anymore. Last year was his last 2006 is his last year in the competition. Andre Agassi is one of the very famous tennis competitor. If you follow tennis at all, he's one of the stars since he was pretty young. And last year he retired at the age of 35, something like that. Okay? 35, 34, I mean even 34, I think, which is early for tennis nowadays. Right now, there's a man who competed, I think Jonas Björkman is from Sweden. He's 35. He's still competing in singles. Okay? Nowadays, the people can compete over 35. He's still competing in the main draw. Now, Andre Agassi retired last year. His career is kind of interesting. He's not a great competitor until he reached the age of 29. Okay? At the age of 29 is when he won a lot of Grand Slam championships. And he changed his game completely. At the age of 29, he became known to be for his fitness, for his strength. And what he does is that he jerks his opponents around the court. He moves them from left to right, right to left, left to right, left to right, right to left. And he will not go for a winning shot. He won't go for a killer shot. He deliberately jerked his opponents around and wear his opponents out. Okay? So by the end of the first set, they're out of breath. And the second set, they don't feel like running anymore. That's how Andre Agassi used to compete. And he destroyed his opponents. He raised the level of physical fitness in the men's tennis competition. Okay? And every year he would lift heavier. Okay? He would be even fitter every single year. And he keeps on jerking people around like that. Okay? He destroyed his opponents. His opponents could not even move anymore towards the end of the match. They're so exhausted. And why did Andre Agassi retire? He was still pretty fit. Okay? What did he have? He had back problems. He couldn't move anymore. And it hurt so much that he had to take a lot of cortisone shots, which is very bad for you. So it's not like he's not willing to compete. It's his body is no longer cooperating. That is a form of retribution obstruction right there. By destroying his opponents for 4 or 5 years, finally caught up with them. Now his body is destroyed itself. By destroying other people's body, he destroyed his own body. Think about it. Whatever we do, there's repercussions, there are recoils. Be extremely careful. I love the example of Andre Agassi because I want you to be careful as you go out there and earn your living. Okay? Be extremely careful with the kind of karma you create. It comes around. You can't avoid it. It's a lot sooner than you think. Okay? There's nothing wrong with Andre Agassi. That's the only thing wrong with his career right there. He made a living upon destroying others' careers. He did a lot of charity work. He's a really good guy. Okay, he's a decent father, he's a decent husband, all those things. The only thing he does is he destroys other people's body. He ended up having a destroyed body. Okay, so he can compete anymore. That's a beautiful example of retribution obstruction right there. And what about affliction obstruction? Well, this gets really close to home now. Affliction obstruction is that they come from inside of you. So far, the first two are outside. Okay? Now it comes from inside. It wells up from the inside. You become so afflicted that you drop out. You give up. Earlier, I was talking to someone. I told her, you were just passing a test. I said, oh yeah? Are there going to be a lot of tests coming? Cultivation is about passing tests. It's not about where you are. It's about to be able to pass tests. My training, the training I put you all through, is very intensive. Okay? That's why you progress quicker. You progress quicker because there are more tests you must take. Okay? One primary example of affliction obstruction is you get pissed off at me. Another example, you are so sure that I'm wrong that you can't stand me anymore. And guess what? Because I'm stronger than you can't reach me, you run away from it. You can't face me. You justify it as, I can't stand you. You're so unfair to me, you're so mean to me. You see, it's the self coming out. The self rearing its ugly head and manifesting it in terms of afflictions. Of course, some of you, some of the students are above that. They say, you can't fool me. You know what? Those affliction obstructions come in so many forms, so many more forms that you are aware of. Okay? Example, someone just ran away from me. My disciple ran away from me. It's not the real reason. Okay? She was so afflicted. She wouldn't tell you, she would not admit to it, but I know. And she made him very afflicted. Didn't she?
She did what?
Did she make you afflicted too? Did she make you afflicted too? Very afflicted, weren't you? That's what the nature of affliction. You pass it on to the people close to you. You know that saying, misery loves company? She made this couple so afflicted because she was so afflicted. It's an affliction obstruction. This woman here in her life, she tells you that, learning and then becoming enlightened, becoming progressing, making progress is so important to her. Okay? In the end, she couldn't stand her teacher. That's the nature of the test. Okay?
Did she realize that?
Of course not. Of course not. You see, of course not. And there's nothing that we as outsiders can do. I give you an example right there. She doesn't know. You don't know. I don't know. That's part of ignorance. And even if someone tries to explain to you, it is so hard to get through your head. Because when you're afflicted, you don't listen anymore. Your ears are plugged up. Good question. How do you resolve it? Anyone?
First thing I want to resolve it.
That's right. You have to be honest. You can't say, you can't deny your own afflictions.
It's called projection if you don't want to look at it.
Yeah.
But if the person
herself or himself doesn't realize that, how do you cut through?
It has to do with the way you function, you operate every day. Are you honest with yourself? What do I teach you in chant? The straight mind. Are you willing to face your own afflictions? Are you willing to admit that you are afflicted? That you're pissed off? That you are so and so and so? Okay? If you're not willing to do that, there's no problem to be fixed. That's the very first step that you have to be extremely careful about. This is a do or die, folks. This is no play, no child's play here. You have to be extremely honest with yourself.
My affliction was defending you. And we were telling her that we thought this was a test, that she had done something.
A huge test.
What?
A huge test. They get harder and harder and harder and harder. That's how you progress. You can't say, give me a PhD and expect me to administer you a test for a freshman.
Sure.
You cannot come to me and say, Master, teach me, I want to be enlightened, but be nice to me. Don't give me a test. Okay? I've been aware of this for months now. Okay? There's nothing I can do. Why? Because unless you come to me and say, Master, you piss me off. Okay? You cannot even be honest about it. I ain't gonna touch it. I'm not going to touch it, even with a 10-foot pole. Because if you're not willing to admit it, you're not willing to face it, there's nothing I can do. Nothing anyone can do. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. Every test that you're faced with is really simply a tip of the iceberg, folks. Trust me. It's a matter of time. It takes time.
If you have physical symptoms, bodily symptoms.
Sometimes, but not always. Affliction is very, very insidious because see, I want you to be grateful to my first two disciples. They paved the way for you. Okay? Because right now you're a lot more balanced than they are. Trust me, the quicker you progress without a proper foundation, the bigger the self becomes, and it won't listen to anyone. She's even a higher level samadhi in her own master, own Qigong master. She's been studying for 20 years. Tai Chi and Qigong, right? Her attainment in 2 years' time is even higher than a Qigong master. It's been around for thousands of years. Okay? It's no small feat. To us, it's so tiny. It's so insignificant. Okay? But to the under worldly standard, it is such a big feat. And she knows it, and everyone around her knows it. Okay? And therefore, the self says, you see, I have my own standards now. I know what I know now. You made me now. Okay? You gave me my wisdom, my knowledge now. I trust my knowledge, my understanding now. Okay? And I'm sure that you're wrong. What does it sound like to you? Affliction. Where does afflictions come from? The self asserting itself. Isn't it fascinating, the Buddha Dharma? You think you got it made, and you're so wrong. And the selves, if you give the self a week, it will come up with tons of excuses why you're right and the other person is wrong. Ask a scientist. They spend their lifetime pursuing that. But that's the nature of the self that misleads you. Okay? Because it knows it's right? So the scientist says, science supports me. My knowledge backs me up. And they're right, aren't they?
So when is that the case?
If you take that path, you go to run to a dead end.
No, but when can you go and eventually?
We come to that in a later section and take a rain check on that. It's a very good question. Okay? The two things here. The two things you ought to be aware of. Number one is that later in another section we say, don't trust yourself. This sutra is very plain. Don't trust yourself. Don't trust yourself.
You're wrong all the time.
You are wrong more often than you like to admit.
You're wrong more than you're right.
You're wrong so much more often. A scientist, for example, is prime example. They're right in a very small confine. They're not wrong. You see? So if you tell them they're wrong, it's not going to work. But if you broaden their domain, it's not going to work. The theorem stops working. Science becomes confused. Science becomes erratic, becomes inaccurate. So what do scientists do? They say, let me stay in my domain because that's all I know. And if you and whatever is outside my domain is nonsense. What does it sound like? The self again. The self is right again. I know and you don't.
Fine, that's how they grow. Somebody presents new facts, and then they'll look at those facts and prove them with mathematics and say, hey, that does work.
Yeah, eventually they get there. But you see, it's a very slow process.
It's evolution.
Okay? It's so slow. It's linear. It's one-dimensional. One step at a time. Whereas our wisdom is multi-dimensional. Okay? And the other thing is that the question that's not being asked, I should ask, since you're not asking it, I have to ask myself. So how do you avoid these obstructions? How? Obstruction to your cultivation. How do you avoid these things? Would that work? You walk around, you won't feel good about yourself.
You determine them and ask the good knowing advisor whether it is or isn't what to do about it.
The two things that you can do to avoid obstruction. Number one is have a good knowing advisor and trust in a good knowing advisor. Okay? That's number one. Did she trust me? No. Never trusted me. That much. So the failure is right from the outset. She trusted me as long as it works for her. Yeah, it's a Western thing.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. It's a normal. You can only trust to the extent of your knowledge, your understanding. Okay? So you can't blame her for that. But I'm telling you, you're stepping into an area here where you have to go beyond what you know. Okay? Case in point, I taught you I got to where you are today because I asked you to do things you did not understand. You disagreed with actually. Just remember that fact. You disagreed with a lot of things I told you initially. It's nonsense.
Disagreement or lack of trust. I don't cross my legs because I don't trust your.
Whatever it is, however you want to rationalize it, it's going to vary from person to person. But the point is that the trust is not deep enough. Okay? Number one. There's not a whole lot you can do. If the trust is only superficial, that's as far as you can go with the Dharma. Okay? It makes sense because scientifically we need things to back us, need to make us feel comfortable. That's fine. But you have to go a little bit beyond that. Mahayana is based a lot more on faith. Okay? The funny thing about the Buddha Dharma is that you first have faith, then you discover for yourself it's true. It takes first to have faith. You have to do it before you understand. Okay? And the other thing, the number two thing is what? Blessings. Because if you do not have enough blessings, you won't listen. The nature of our work, our practice is we will have obstructions. A lot of obstructions. Okay? Why? Because we have a lot of people that we owe debt to. And they're lining up right now, waiting for their chance to collect. Alright? So obstruction is what we run to a lot. Okay? And what happens is that when you have obstructions like that, very often they get offset by the kind of blessings you use up. Does it make sense to you? Okay? So, for example, you have some you have some assets, and you use the asset to pay off your debt towards let's say this guy or that person. Okay, that's part of your wealth. Okay, then you carry with you from lifetime to lifetime from life to life. Okay, and what that woman failed to understand is that I taught her, I gave her chances to accrue her blessings. Okay, blessings is from giving. Right? So how did she give? How did I help her accrue her blessings? By helping. Give Dharma. Because when she helped me teach class, she's helping giving Dharma, isn't she? She's helping when I agree to use her place, okay, that she's helping me, okay, with the rent, okay. So what's behind that is that you're aiding others in giving.
So that's blessing.
Yes. Okay. So I haven't explained that yet. It's section 10. Never explained section 10.
Should we have metal?
That's a different question. We don't have time for that.
I very deeply considered it because of my connection with her.
Yeah,
it changed my mind.
It's a personal thing. But see, the point I'm explaining in the light of section 10 here. Okay, because it was done, but it was not explained in the light of section 10. You aid others in giving. Okay? Therefore, your blessings are even greater and vaster. If you were to give yourself. She couldn't give herself anyway. Okay? She couldn't give Dharma itself.
Oh, you mean for her to...
Right. So, but you see, but it was done with the wrong mindset. It was done to curry favors from me. See, I'm not criticizing. I'm only dissecting the thing for you. I know a lot of things have been going on. I never said anything. Okay? It's part of the test. You have to be true to yourself. Okay? with the wrong motives. Okay? And at the end, she stopped giving, didn't she? She refused to help, as if I needed it. Now, I'm not bad-mouthing. I'm only illustrating an example for you to see where, because I want you to be open. This is not criticism at all, okay? You don't have to agree with me at all, by the way, okay? I'm only using this person or another person because as long you show up, either you tell me, unless you tell me, don't bring me up, okay? Don't use me in your example, then I won't. Okay? I respect your privacy. But as long as you give me the green light, okay? You may learn something from it. Or you may not. I don't know. Okay? But it's not meant to be criticism or meant to be a self-defense. It's not that important, trust me. But the point is that this is I dissect the errors for your sake, because section 10 in the light section 10, the Dharma that's being explained in section 10, okay, that I never had a chance to explain to them. Remember, she has begged me 3 times in front of you for the Sutra lectures, and you know what? I looked at her. I agreed, but I knew that sincerity is not there. It's like, you want me to bow to you, I bow to you. That's wrong. The intent is wrong. It's counter to the value, the Dharma, requesting Dharma for what? For the sake of others, not for yourself. Not because I do because you want me to do it. I do because that way you continue to give to me. It's the wrong kind of motives. Okay? And this, I do not wish you to take it wrong at all. I hope you don't take it wrong. It's meant for you to understand the motivation behind your actions. If you're not clear about it, if you're not honest about it, these afflictions will overwhelm you before you realize it. And there's no way to extricate yourself. Yes?
But she was not a single woman. And when you're married, the things you do affect the family. And your thoughts?
That's beyond section 10.
Yeah, but I
that's a reasonable explanation. But that's
saw her eyes fill with tears.
But that's
she
not.
did not want to leave her friends. So, you have to consider this was a marriage. And a single woman or a single man can do things differently.
What does it have to do with marriage so far? You lost me there. I'm only explaining the motives. Either you say, you're wrong, I know better.
Because if you come home and your beliefs are made fun of or put down, it is difficult.
What is it? Does it fall under retribution or karmic or affliction? All three. All three. See, I never had a chance to explain to you boys and girls, okay? And they and you have to admire him for having the skin that is thick enough to take the beating from me in front of you. That is so remarkable. I can't commend him enough for that. He did a lot. He made so many mistakes initially that could have cut him off, make him spin out of orbit. Okay? They kept on coming back, and no matter how brutal I was with him. The way I treat him is, my brutality towards him is like 1,000 times towards the other one. I'm serious. Because his skin is a lot thicker. I push him so hard. And as until this month, he even thought about quitting too. Haven't you? It hurts so much.
The thought comes. It wasn't because you were hurting me.
What do you know?
I just wouldn't be patient.
I hear you. But he was never verbally abused by his father. So he could take it from a man easier than a woman who had been verbally abused by her father. Now I know I'm playing the defending, but
It's just the right thing to do. I'm glad you're doing that, because then it shows both sides of the story, okay? And it's commendable, because we at least we're not sinking into group thinking and then condemning someone or not being unfair about it. It's not about fairness. It's about dissecting, using someone as an example for Section 10 principles. Okay. Beyond that, I have no interest. You think whatever you like. I only use that's more part of it for Section 10's principles.
Her affliction and all of this is based on her husband's actions, and if you leave him or you choose to resolve this, but you're saying that she could do both.
If she wishes.
Control the route doesn't believe in Buddhism at all.
Listening to Janine, it doesn't sound to me like this is not quite number 10, but it's one of those three. She didn't really agree with my assessment of what was going on. But
Zeno, let me tell you, he's wiser than she is. He knows more about Buddhism than she does. He has more understanding. You know why? Why? What proof do I have? Because he went through the test before. Dummy. How else will he know? Because I tested him already.
Okay, well, you're going to tell us what kind of test that you're going through. We're prepared.
Can I tell you? It's in the bulletin board in the main room.
And we can't go over there, I want to see it.
that's the truth too. Mr. YongHua advised me at one time that I was being tested. Quite some time ago, and it never came up again. But just to see if I had enough guts to stick around.
Yes.
So
Enough blessings to stay.
Enough blessings.
It seems that a possible fiction that may have occurred. Find a good knowing advisor you can trust.
Yeah.
How do you cure it? Advisor is a knowing advisor.
You can't. It's just like you wanting to be recognized, to be able to recognize a great professor for your PhD thesis. You can't.
So is it a possibility of fearing retribution by picking someone who you perceived was not a good knowing advisor and who be retribution. And that fear of that retribution became that affection.
So what you do is that it's functional on two things. Number one, the sincerity. Your sincerity. Are you really seeking a good knowing advisor? Okay? Or are you simply going through the motion? How deep is how sincere are you? Number two, your blessings. Again, you don't have enough blessings, no one's can teach you. Okay? But the search for a good knowing advisor has to be deep in your heart. Do you really want to learn? If you really want to learn, you have to find a teacher. Okay? And you may have to go through several. Who knows?
I'm finding that I have to detach from not only beliefs, but truths and absolutes.
Yeah.
I have to get rid of those
Yeah.
to open that door.
Yeah.
Is that,
Yeah. That's your obstructions.
Those are my instructions.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to let go. Because if you're not willing to lighten up, then you can't soar.
Those tests, if you don't let go, those tests will beat you up. They did.
Yeah, you'll find out. What do you want? The whole PhD training program here?
Yeah.
yeah, right. Yeah, sure. The nature of the practice is that you go one step at a time. Because throughout the explanation of this sutra here in 42 sections, I explained for all levels already. Okay, so if you go back to what I explained in the second time or the third time, you pick up more things. It takes a lot of iterations. You expect to come here once and listen to it and go away and feeling good and that kind of thing. That works. But you dig deeper, it's a lot deeper than you think. A lot more than you can understand at this stage.
I understand the thirst.
Give it time. Yes? Anything else?
Is it an affliction not to ask?
What?
Is it an affliction not to ask? Like I think of all these things I'm going to say, I'll ask you, but then I think, oh, am I serious enough a student to waste your time? That's what.
It's up to you. There's nothing I can do about that. Okay? There's no stupid question. The only stupid answers, which I have a lot of.
And stupid disciples.
By definition.
I think it is a Western thing.
Yeah.
It is. I sat for the Chan class, and I had tons of questions in my head, but always feeling that asking it would be in its own way disrespectful. And not asking was in my ignorance, my way of being respectful. And I find the benefit of asking the questions of everybody else. But I understand it was very difficult for me to start asking questions.
And that's the nature of the interaction. Okay? When you're so sure that you're right, that's when you want to speak.
I wonder why Randy sits there and never says anything. Why does he never ask a question? So that's.
When you're sure, that's when you want to ask questions. That's when you want to bounce it off others.
So it's sinking in by him listening over and over, and he doesn't need to ask a question.
Well, I also find the opposite, to be true also. Very many times, not asking the question and does not provide the opportunity for the additional information. And that without asking it, you deny yourself and others the opportunity to gain.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a free-flowing thing. If it really bothers you, then ask. If it doesn't bother you, don't ask. That's okay.
So if I could ask this one, but how do attachments relate to obstructions?
How do attachments relate to obstructions? They are 100% obstructions.
About what you're attached to instead of your
Karmic obstruction is an attachment.
Karmic obstructions, are they attachments? What do you think?
An attachment comes from yourself. It means karmic obstruction is from outside.
You could say it's an attachment.
Why would we say that? We could, but why would we say that?
Why would we? Because you will come to the point in your practice where you begin to understand. Right now you can't yet. And it's not something that can be explained because it's meant for you to discover. Because once you discover that, then you understand about the iceberg. If I explain it to you only, then you only understand one thing. You discover it yourself, you see the whole picture. So sometimes I prod you along, I give you a hint. Okay? But sometimes it's not meant for you. Things are not meant to be explained. It's meant for you to wonder about, to question, to mull it over your mind before you can understand. That's part of your sincerity test. If you really want to know, you'll get there. You don't want to know, you run away from me. Simple. So you can't tell me. See, that's the nature of the fallacy in the student believing that he or she can outsmart the teacher. He says, I think I know where he's coming from. I know his habits and all those things. And then when you approach the teacher with that kind of mindset, okay, you get exactly what you asking for. What you can ever see in the teacher, and nothing more. Because the Buddha Dharma is like emptiness. Whatever vessel, shape you are, it fills up and takes on that form. It's about you, the vessel. It's not about the Dharma. What do you think? Do we ask you to be a certain shape, be a certain size, be a certain weight? No. Whatever you can absorb is all that you can absorb at this stage in your practice. So you take a hammer, you keep on hammering it, you change it the shape and make it bigger. Well, you can absorb more. You can contain more. And you keep on hammering away and hammering away. But you say, if I tell you, keep on hammering away, you say, okay, let me think about it. So what happens? Still the same shape. What can I do? This is how they do it. You take this big sheet of Japanese. No, this is not Japanese. Is this Japanese? No, this is not Japanese. It's a sheet of steel, a piece of metal, and they hammer it. They flatten it out, and they hammer it. And this is how they flatten it out, and they hammer it, and then they shape it. And then they finally they make these pimples. Okay? It's you who determine the shape, not me. It's all under your control. Okay? No one is out to get you bent out of shape or put you into a form that you're not comfortable. It's you who decide for yourself what shape you're going to be, what size you're going to be. So don't come to me and say, you don't understand me. Of course I don't understand you. It's you who determines what you're going to end up looking like. So in Mahayana, what's important is we said, what is the most important thing in Mahayana? We said, bring forth the resolve for Bodhi. That's the first thing you learn in Mahayana. Bring forth the resolve for Bodhi. Meaning, I want to become a Buddha. Don't say that I'm going to be an Arhat, going to be a Bodhisattva, that kind of thing. See, this is not what I learned. First thing I learned, now I'm teaching you. See, I spent a lot of years wasting my time, my life. Because you determine the end result here first. And then you plug along to get there. And it's not a casual thing. Because you come to the good knowing advisor and say, teach me, because I want to progress. Okay? I want to increase my kung fu. I want to open my wisdom. Okay? It's still not ultimate yet. You have to say, I want to be enlightened. I want to be a Buddha. All others are simply will get you caught up, will trap you. That's what happened to Arhats. They work so hard to get up there and say, oh, I got it made. And they're stuck. Okay, next, section 11. The increase in merit and gain by bestowing food, which is the section is about the multiplying factor. I think I alluded to this in the chant class, the last chant class. We talked about the fact that when you give, earlier section we talked about giving, helping others give. Actually, the person you give to makes a difference. Okay, and we're learning about that here. The Buddha said giving food to 100 bad people is not as good as giving food to a single good person. Giving food to 1,000 good people is not as good as giving food to one person who holds the 5 precepts. Okay? The act of giving itself creates merit and virtues for you. So even though you give it to a bad person, you still create merit and virtue for yourself. However, when you give to a bad person, you're helping the bad person perpetuate the badness, aren't you? And therefore it's not as beneficial overall as giving to a good person. That's why this explains why there's a multiplier effect. Alright? Make sense to you so far? And giving food to 1,000, giving food or giving in general. Okay. Giving to 1,000 good people is not as good as giving to one person who holds the 5 precepts. Again, goodness. Goodness is still can be refined into in Buddhism in terms of 5 precepts. Okay? Giving food to 10,000 people who hold the 5 precepts is not as good as giving food to a single Shrota-apana. Giving food to 1 million Shrota-apanas is not as good as giving food to a single Sakridagaman. Giving food to 10 million Sakridagamans is not as good as giving food to a single Anagaman.
What do those words mean?
What are they?
What?
I don't know.
Okay, the next level from 5 precepts is that you reach a level of wisdom called first stage Arhat or Shrota-apana. That's first stage Arhat. All these Shrota-apana is first stage. Sakridagaman is second stage Arhat. Anagaman is third stage Arhat.
Okay.
You get the first stage Arhat Shrota-apana by getting rid of your view delusions. Okay? There are 88 grades of view delusions that you have to get rid of in the triple realms. In the form realm, in the formless realm, as well as in the desire realm. There are 88 grades of view delusions. What are view delusions? View delusions are you face with a situation and you give rise to love and desire, greed and desire. Okay? So the first stage Arhat cut off the view delusions. The second stage Arhat or Sakridagaman cut off a number of thought delusions. And the third stage Arhat cut off all thought delusions in the desire realm. Alright? Giving food to 100 million Anagamans is not as good as giving food to a single Arhat. Giving food to 1 billion Arhats is not as good as giving food to a single Pratyeka Buddha. Giving food to 10 billion Pratyeka Buddhas is not as good as giving food to a Buddha 3 periods of time. So now we go from third stage to fourth stage Arhat. There's a bigger multiplier than from an Arhat, which is a person who practices the four, who reach that Arhat fruition through the Three Noble Path. Practice the Three Noble Truths, Dharma. Now we move to the Pratyeka Buddha, who is either called a solitary enlightened person, that is at the time where there's no Buddha in the world, they go up in the mountains and they become enlightened by themselves without a teacher. That's called the solitary enlightened ones, or they call Pratyeka Buddha, or they call conditioned enlightened one. That is, they listen to Buddha's sermons and they became enlightened to the teachings. Okay, you become a Pratyeka Buddha by practicing the 12 conditioned links Dharma. There are 12 items here, 12 links. First is ignorance. Number 2 is action. Number 3 is consciousness. Number 4 is name and form. Number 5 is 6 entrances. Number 6 contact. Number 7 is feeling. Number 8 is love. Number 9 is grasping. Number 10 is existence. 11 is birth. 12 is death. Why are they called conditioned links? Because one conditions to the next. One link serves as a condition for the next one. So they follow one to another. Ignorance conditions action, action conditions consciousness, and so on and so on. Alright? They are closely interconnected. What is ignorance? What's the meaning of these 12 items? Ignorance is simply sexual desire. With sexual desire, you engage in sex. That's the karma right there, or the action. Right? And through sexual intercourse, you have conception. The consciousness arrives. Life begins. And then, within a short time period, then you have a name and a form, meaning you begin to have organs. You have a fetus, the fetus being formed. Okay? Name for organs, form of organs, of body parts. All right? And then that conditions, the next step is condition 6 entrances, your 6 organs. Okay? Now are fully formed. With the 6 entrances, now you have contact inside the mother's womb. Right? And with contact, you create the conditions to give rise to love. To feeling. Feeling of pleasantness or unpleasantness, or something neutral. Neither pleasant or not unpleasant. Neither pleasant or unpleasant. Okay? That's feeling. And from feeling you give rise to love. You become attached. I prefer pleasantness. Okay? With love, you give rise to grasping. You can't live without it. Oh honey, I can't live without you. And with grasping, the beautiful word here is existence. It is so beautiful, the Dharma. What does existence invoke in your mind? See, existence is one of the things, the words that are not clearly explained. What does it tell you? What is existence? Anyone? Those of you who are experienced now, Dharma devotees or researchers or well-read people, please explain to me what existence is.
The conscious thought of your being and where you are and how you perpetuate that.
What is existence?
The acceptance of unconsciousness.
When you grasp, you become so attached, aren't you? Like you're grasping something you won't let go. Okay? That's what love gives rise to. You can't let go. Because you can't let go, what's the next level? What's the next thing that is generated in your consciousness? It's for real. This thing is for real. It exists. See the beautiful Dharma? It's so real to me. Don't tell me this doesn't exist. Are you kidding me? I like this. This is so compact, it's so cute. It's, How can you tell me it's not real? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Existence. It gets thicker and thicker. It's much harder and harder to extricate yourself. Because it is real. Because you are real. Because I am real. She is real. She is my daughter. Right? And from existence, you create the conditions for your future birth. And with birth, you will die. The Pratyeka Buddhas understand these conditioned links. They contemplate this Dharma and they understand it step 1 through step 12. This is 12-step program in Buddhism. You might say. And they became enlightened. Okay? And that's the Dharma for the Pratyeka Buddhas. Now, this is not the end of it yet. The Pratyeka Buddhas, you give to a Pratyeka, a conditioned enlightened one, is not as good as giving to one Buddha. Okay? You make an offering of incense to Buddha. Okay, that's giving. It's like you do that is much bigger than giving to 10 billion Pratyeka Buddhas.
Why is that?
Oh yeah, the goodness is much greater. There's no comparison at all between a Buddha and a Pratyeka Buddha. Pratyeka Buddha is so stupid. The Pratyeka Buddha is so wise. If they can understand, you can understand those 12-step program, okay? You enlighten to that. Your wisdom is incredible, okay? And yet that wisdom compared to the wisdom of the Buddha is nothing. It's nothing, like a rain of sand. That's it. That's the wisdom of a Buddha. Okay? That's why there's a multiplier involved. And that's not the end of it. The giving food to 100 billion Buddhas of the 3 periods of time is not as good as giving food to a single person who is without thoughts, without dwelling, without cultivation, without accomplishment. Can you believe that?
What is that?
What is that? Who's that, we mean?
Yeah.
Who's that?
That is an enlightened
But the Buddha
person.
is enlightened.
Yeah, that's right. Why?
We get a level of the Buddha.
No, Buddha is only one level. Why? Does it mean this person is wiser than the Buddha? The Buddha is about as wise as you can ever get, okay? So why is there even a bigger multiplier? Good answer. That's one of the reasons. Another reason being,
And you were called.
you can't find this person.
Well, I was thinking of, I'm sorry.
If I tell you to go and make an offering to Medicine Master Buddha, you know exactly who he is, right?
Well, actually, I was thinking.
Don't you?
A monk is a single person who, without a
No, a monk is not without thoughts.
Cultivation and you have thoughts.
You have the monk is full of thoughts, and it's so attached, and it has a lot of cultivation to go through, and it's still attached to his or her accomplishments. Okay,
So that's a paradox then, because there is no such person.
no, there is a person. This person is the enlightened person. This could be the first ground Bodhisattva. But the problem is that if I tell you go to make an offering to Medicine Master Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, you know where to go, don't you? You know who it is right away. If I go and tell you, go and make an offering to a single person without thoughts or dwelling or cultivation, without attainment, you say, huh?
Don't know where to go.
Why do I go?
But how do you know that you haven't met someone who is that you don't know
You don't.
that's who they are?
You don't! That's the beauty of the Dharma.
Give them
That's why it's so rare. This person doesn't go around and say, hey, listen, make offerings to me because I'm enlightened already. It's because you get more blessings out of you. If you're that kind of person, you encounter that kind of person, hey, make offerings to me because I'm enlightened. You know for sure that person is not enlightened.
That's right. Because they had a thought.
You cannot recognize this person.
So don't pass up someone that you haven't.
So what is the point?
Give to everyone.
That's right!
Because one of them might be.
That's the beauty of the lesson right here. It is not an untruth. It is so true because you cannot find this person. Chances are that if you can find this person, you are incredibly lucky. Okay? Because he or she will never admit to you or she's enlightened. Never, ever. You ask Master YongHua, I will tell you he's enlightened. Okay? You ask Master YongHua, did he ever say throughout his lifetime he's enlightened? Never, ever.
Actually, he denies it.
Yeah, he says, I'm just like you. I'm just as stupid as you are. I'm just, more stupid than you are. I'm even more stupid than an ant. I have no wisdom. So for you to be able to give to this person here, so there are two things here. First of all, you can't find this single person, okay, who's without a lot of things, okay. You don't know where she is. Where do you find it? So you say, see, I'm so smart. I don't need to give to Buddhas. I don't need to give to Arhats. Let me go find this person. Go and find him. You spend your lifetime seeking for a person you can't recognize. And number two, suppose you find this person, you say, you go to Master YongHua and say, I know you tell me you're not enlightened, but I don't believe you, okay? And you say, Master, here's a buck. Here's my house. Here's my fortune. Guess what happens? He says, no thanks. No thanks. What are you going to do? You think just because someone have a big multiplier that he or she is going to accept your offering? For what? If this person without thoughts, he won't even have a thought of accepting your offering. Okay, suppose he has a thought of accepting your offering. What is he going to do with that, your offering? Buy a dwelling? Buy some cultivation dharmas? Buy some degrees?
If they're without attainment, nothing's important.
See the problem you have? Even if you find that person, if you find Master YongHua, he may not accept your offering. So why? So what's the lesson here? That's why we teach you to be respectful. You come to Master YongHua and say, hey, listen, I have $1 billion here. I know you need money to do your Dharma propagation and teach your disciples. Here's $1 billion out of my pure goodness of my heart. Master YongHua might say, you know what? We don't need your $1 billion. My disciple would rather starve to death than accept your money. And I will let them starve to death before I accept your money. What are you going to do? Who do you think is doing the favor here? Who's doing the favor? You or the receiver? Because he's losing his shirt. Isn't he? You give $1. And according to this here, it comes back to you 100 billion bucks. So you know what? That's why the Arhats, when you try to give to an Arhat, he takes you give and throw it back at you and ran away. That's what Arhats do.
You mean they give you present comes out of their own present pocket?
Oh yeah. We have our savings. That's why Arhats do not wish to receive offerings, because it indebts them to the donor. Now they have to come back and pay them back. You think it's free? Just the fact we sit here and receive the offering is free? We're bleeding to death. And when blood runs out, we eternally life. It's a fair game for everyone. You can't rest on your laurels, can you? All right?
Can I tell a story?
Sure.
Real quick? There was a man walking down the path, and he looked down and he saw a precious stone on the ground.
Yeah.
And he reached down and he picked up the stone and he saw that it was a very valuable gemstone. Then he put it in his pocket and he continued on down the path. Pretty soon another man joined him on the path. And he says, see what I found back on the path. And he reached in his pocket and he pulled out a beautiful gemstone. And the man said, wow, that's really great. What are you going to do with it? He said, well, I'm going to give it to you. And he says, no. He says, yeah, I am. It's yours. You can have it. So he said, okay. So he took the stone and he went on his way. A couple of days later, the man is walking down the path again. And the man that had joined him comes back on the path. And he said, here, I said, I want to give you the stone back. And he said, no, you don't have to give it back. I gave it to you. Keep it. It's very valuable. He says, no, I don't want the stone. I want what caused you to give it to me.
Very good. Very good. Okay, let's wrap it up. The gentleman has to leave here. May these merit and virtues adorn the Buddha's Pure Land, repaying the 4 kinds of kindness above, aiding the 3 who pass below. May those who see and hear all bring forth a Bodhi heart, and when this retribution body is done, be all born in a land of utmost bliss. Thank you.